explainer. We're diving straight into an incredibly emotive, frankly heartbreaking open letter today. It's a raw piece of source material documenting the deep pain rippling across Balochistan right now. We're going to unpack this profound grief and really look at the powerful plea for peace the author has laid out for us, exploring exactly how the source conveys this message of loss and resilience.
Let's just look right at the text. The author frames the whole thing from literally the very first sentence, writing, "This is not just a letter, it is the voice of a broken heart." It's striking, right? The source immediately establishes this as a powerful personal tribute. This isn't some clinical news report or a dry summary. The author explicitly presents this as a raw emotional outpouring dedicated to innocent souls who have been snatched away, intending for us to feel that collective heartbreak before we even get to the specific details.
Moving into our first section, the silence of Ziarat. The text sets up a totally devastating contrast here. You've got Ziyarat's past described as these breathtaking valleys, famous for their serene peace and a cool breeze. A total sanctuary, basically. But abruptly, the text pivots to the present, describing that exact same beautiful landscape as draped in a haunting silence of mourning. By structuring it this way, the author really drives home how the region has been stripped of its peace by terrorism. It's almost like the physical landscape itself is absorbing the shock and mourning the loss. From the landscape, the source sharpens its focus right onto the victims. It describes them as ordinary people who just left their homes to earn an honest living. The text makes it clear that these folks committed absolutely no crime. They simply went to work for their families. And to really maximize that emotional impact, the author points out they had little, knowing they would never return to embrace their loved ones again. It firmly roots the whole tragedy in the description of everyday, honest life.
Which brings us to Section 2, Shattered Dreams and Families.
The author lays out this cascading loss to show just how deeply personal this violence is. A mother lost her only support. A sister lost her brother. A child lost the protective shade of a father forever. It's totally intentional. Using these specific family bonds makes the abstract concept of tragedy incredibly real for the reader. It takes the statistics and breaks them down into individual human stories, showing how one single act of violence just completely devastates multiple generations within a single home.
Next up, Section 3, A Plea for Peace.
The text actually breaks the silence by asking this incredibly haunting rhetorical question. How long will the soil of our land be stained with the blood of the innocent? It's a direct challenge. The author is asking the reader, the community, and the wider world how long these painful cries of mothers and sisters are going to keep echoing through those now silent mountains of Ziarat. It's a brilliant literary mechanism used to pull us from feeling passive sympathy into actively questioning the current reality. And then we get this uncompromising, definitive statement about the perpetrators. Terrorism has no religion. Its only purpose is to destroy humanity. The source flatly rejects any kind of ideological, political, or religious justification for these attacks. By isolating the act as purely anti-human, the text focuses totally on the destructive nature of terrorism itself. The goal here is clearly to unite all readers against a common enemy of humanity, rather than letting the narrative get bogged down in divisive rhetoric. From that unified stance, the text outlines the clear demands of the grieving community. Even with hearts so heavy, the source insists on absolute resilience. The author demands that their voices must not be silenced, alongside firm demands for peace and basic safety for their people. And the letter beautifully intertwines these strong demands with a prayer, hoping the departed souls find eternal peace and that their families find the strength to bear this unimaginable loss. It's such a striking balance between steadfast resilience and profound open sorrow. Finally, Section 4, Raising Our Voices Together. Here, the source reminds us of our collective responsibility with this exact quote. In these dark times, raising our voice for the innocent and sharing their pain with the world is our shared duty. The fundamental argument being made is that acknowledging this tragedy and standing with the innocent isn't just some optional act of kindness. It's a shared moral duty for anyone absorbing this message. We're essentially being asked to act as amplifiers for those whose voices have been tragically silenced.
To actively support this message, the source material actually provides literal steps for digital activism. The author asks the audience to subscribe to the OmniStream channel, to engage with their content, and to ensure this voice of peace reaches every single heart. The logic they're relying on here is that in our modern digital age, visibility is a hugely powerful form of solidarity. By sharing the message, the author hopes to break the silence entirely and force the world to really pay attention to this urgent plea for peace in Balochistan.
The text wraps up with a really poignant final sign-off. Thank you, stay safe, and take care of your loved ones. After such a heavy emotional plea, the author leaves the reader with a gentle, sobering reminder of what is truly important, making us reflect deeply on why cherishing our families and sharing this collective burden for peace is so vital right now. So, based on everything we've just unpacked in this explainer, the source leaves us with one unavoidable question. If the haunting silence in the valleys of Ziarat is sustained by the world looking away, what small step will you take today to ensure the demand for peace echoes louder than the violence?